Okay, so it's nice to meet you guys. I'm sub captain at because this is more like my official crypto DeFi account. It's been more not really what I like use for IRL activities, but I just had to like use it to join the space. So it's nice to come onto the space and share one or two bits about scholarships. Very big on scholarships. I am a scholarship boy. And I also help. I love, putting people through on, how to be about getting the scholarship, getting what issues they feel during, your scholarship applications and all of that. Because, me being someone who has been opportunity to, be an awardee of, many scholarships, many undergraduate scholarships. Because I'm still an undergraduate, right? Currently my 400 level. So mechanical engineering student. Right? So yeah, being someone who is an awardee of many scholarships, right? Because you have to know, okay, how do you go about this? And because me getting each of these scholarships was not that easy. Like I was like before I got my very first scholarship that I was and I got the award letter in my mail. I had to like you know write different exams for quite a number of scholarships. I've been so bent on getting scholarships right from my year one, and I didn't get any scholarships like 200 level second semester. But all the scholarships I applied for, then I bagged them all. But then all this because they actually did not give up. They not give up. Even sometimes that being in school, I'd have to like borrow money from friends just because I wanted to like you know um travel for a scholarship interview, go and write this exam in this also state, go and do this, go and do that, and all of that. But everything paid off. Everything paid off in the end because I got opportunity that my colleagues didn't get. Some while some were getting one or two, I was getting way more. I was even let me say at some point I got a bit lazy because I could have actually gotten a lot more scholarships than I'm currently enjoying right now. But we thank God for that, right? So when it comes to scholarships, right, you have to know the requirements for these scholarships. Like you have to really understand what these guys want from. It's one thing to it's one thing to just see okay that this scholarship application is out, and it's another thing to really understand what it is these guys want from you. And all these things are what I try to like explain properly when um hosting scholarship sessions and all of that. Because myself also now, if there's any scholarship I want to like apply for, I I'll call like two or three friends and call my manager and say, okay, I've gone through this scholarship application. This is what I understand from it. Are there any key things you could point out or anything I need to like pay more attention to? Because imagine you're applying for like Chevron for example, and Chevron usually has like 100,000, 200,000, applications per year from like even more than that sometimes from scholars around Nigeria. But then you know that at the end of the day, max they want to give is like 5K, 10K, 10K students, from universities all over Nigeria. So you have to understand that there has to be this thing that will separate you from, you know, from others if you want to like get these scholarships. You want to get these scholarship applications. So and these things are what I try to like point out when um I say, okay, this scholarship application is out. Go and apply for it. This is what you really need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you should avoid doing. And to get scholarship at the end of the day. And all thanks be to God, quite a number of like my juniors have, bagged, different scholarships and all. So one thing is for folks, I don't know if most of the folks on this Twitter space at the moment are currently in their year one or year two. But if you're in your year one and you are, opportunity, be on this Twitter space, you are very lucky. Why? Because one thing is when I'm talking to like people about scholarships, I try to like emphasize more on year one students. When you're in year one, you have the time and you have the time to plan for your scholarship journey. Like you really do. Before I got into school, I was like, God, I want to like get at least two scholarships. At least two scholarships. And I started reading up on scholarships, I started, applying, started writing exams, started doing that and all of that. If I was in school or I went for an event and someone decided to just mention something about this scholarship or that, I'll meet up with the person. Now, I was previously a shy person, but because I knew that okay, I wanted to like get this particular scholarship, I want to get this particular scholarship, and you need to have questions. You need to ask questions about all these things. That's the thing. You must not be someone that, oh, okay, maybe you're an introvert of this thing, then you won't ask questions from people. If you don't ask questions, if you don't do things the right way, you get disqualified from these things. So you have to really understand, okay, it's not just English when you apply for scholarships. You don't just read it as English the way it is. So you have to know that this is what people are doing. This is what people have done on this particular scholarship, and this is how you go about building your connections, building networks from there. It's very, very important. Your journey in scholarships has to do with your network. That's to do with your network, because sometimes you'll be like this this scholarship is probably like you know that normally this scholarship is come out around this time, but if you're not on any scholarship group and the scholarship doesn't come out around that time and it comes out earlier or at a later date, how would you get to know this if you don't have network? Fine, you could say that okay, you put on um notifications on any of these websites that that have blogs on scholarships and all of that. It's fine. That's great. I did that too. But having a very, very strong community on scholarships is very, very important. Like you can't undermine the importance of community in anything you are doing. Scholarship is very important. So you have to note that. Now, for regarding what I was saying concerning year one students the other time, if you are currently in your first year and you have plans that in your third year, fourth year, you want to be on like 6, 7, 8, 10 scholarships, you should know that you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do. When I was in my year one, I put aside every other thing. Like I made my academics my number one priority. Like, and I made friends with folks that I knew that okay, these guys are actually also very serious with their academics, and they would also, they're also, OGs, like when it's going, no, not then OGs, that doesn't fit that description, but they're also, very hungry. They're hungry, for scholarships and all of that. So I made friends, like different friends from different departments, from different faculties, and I followed up on these guys. And we've been together since then. And also have folks from other universities that we network together concerning all the scholarships that we in and we've been growing together since. So then Toro, Tommy, Upon from different universities like East, the North. So all these things are very, very important. Now, your first year as as someone who wants to be on scholarships in their third, fourth year. But your first year is for you to build your CGPA. Like coming out of 100 level, you should have nothing less than 4.85 if you want to be on many scholarships. Fine, you can get scholarships that okay, they don't require you to be on a strong CGPA like that. But believe me, if you want to make the most out of scholarships, having a very strong CGPA, like having a very strong CGPA foundation, like when you get to third, fourth year, if you decide not to like take academics as serious as before, you're fine with that because you've already built a solid foundation. But in your first year, you must get out with nothing less than 4.85. It's very possible. It's something that I've done, it's something other people have done. So just have this at the back of your mind. Most of these scholarships that pay the most, they pay folks that have strong CGPAs. Of course, we have different award categories. We have the merits category, we have the catchment category. That's when they'll be like, okay, after picking the merits category, then for the catchment category, now be like, okay, past states, this is the number of people who still want to like give scholarships to that might not necessarily meet the criteria for the merits category. So you can still get in on that. And then the very last category, which is the VIP list. All scholarships have VIP lists. So the same way you have VIP lists for admission in the university, you have scholarships have VIP lists. That's when, okay, they'll be like, okay, for, let's say it's an NGO, for example. An NGO, for example, they'll be like, okay, we want to give 1,000 students scholarships. Then for merits, we'll give 400. And for catchment, we give 300. For VIP list, we give 300. The VIP list is, okay, officials in the organization. Who do you know in this university, or do you have any relations in this university who are in this department, blah 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 blah, and that's how they work out their VIP list. But for catchment, it is okay. You are in this state, you are given 20 per state, then you get selected for that. But if you really want to like get on scholarships, always aim for the merit list. Of course, you can get in on other categories, but always aim for the merit list. It's very, very important for you as someone who wants to get in on many scholarships, because you don't be proud when you're applying for a scholarship and you're like, oh, I have this so CGPA, I have 4.85, I have 4.9, 4.92, 4.95, and like, wow, this is actually good. And because all these things, you have to know how to you have to know how to like snub your scholarship application, because you must know how to like, if you're writing an article on why do you need scholarship or what makes you think you are worthy of the scholarship, you must know how to paint it properly with words and with proof of what it is you feel they really want to see, right? So you having a very strong CGPA to back it up, it's going to give you an edge over other people. That's the thing. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, they want to do businesses, they want to do that, they want to like build skills. Of course, like all these things are very, very important. But you must have a focus. I always tell people, like, prioritize what it is you really want at the end of the day. If you want to build on scholarships, like you want to build on scholarships, you want to be getting up to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million yearly from scholarships, then you have to make your academics your number one priority in your 100 level. Like it should be your number one priority in your 100 level. So that's for that. Then you have to be very like well versed in like everything about scholarships. You have to know which of the scholarships we have. Please, I won't be talking for long because I'm actually going to be on that space that I was going to start by 8, so I'll soon be done, right? But I'll try to like touch as many key areas as possible before leaving the space. So please you pardon me for that. So yes, where was I? Yeah, you have to be well versed when it comes to like scholarships. You have to know, okay, this particular scholarships are the scholarships are available for 100 level students. It's you have to take scholarships as your job. That's the thing. And you know that, okay, if you want to make the most out of your job, you must know a lot about your job. You must do your own research on your job. You must do your own research on scholarships. You want to make money from this scholarship, you want to make money from this scholarship, find out how do these guys go about their application process. Around what time of the year, will the application come out? That's where networking comes in. Because if you're in core scholarship groups, you always like back to back, they'll be dropping scholarship updates. Don't say, oh, all these things they take time to read. Pay the price. If you want to like be watching Netflix or be doing this with your friends, or you are going out to the club with your friends, even if you're at the club, still take time to like go through all these things. It's very, very important. Like remove distractions. You have to remove distractions, for instance, because at the end of the day, when you're getting 250K from this scholarship, 600K from this scholarship, 400K from this scholarship, your friends who you used to like go to the club together or go and do this particular thing together and all of that, they'll be seeing you, balling and enjoying scholarship money and all of that. Why? Because we're doing something they didn't take serious back then. That's how it works. When you're paying the price, it usually feels like you're foolish. You don't really know what you're doing. Or you're enjoying, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like life is not hard. Guys, life is hard. You have to take life hard to make it soft. If you want a soft life, you must treat life hard. That's how it works. That's how it works. You have to really understand, okay, this is how we go about these things. And you must do these things, like you must pay the price to get these things. Fulfill the requirements of these things. That's when you get to enjoy them. That's when you get to enjoy the rewards. So get building your connection, understanding how to go about scholarship processes, knowing when the scholarships come out, then preparing before time. If you know that this scholarship will actually come out in like the application process will come out in June, like MTN usually comes out like June, July, and sometimes it could be any other month, but usually around June, July, May, June, July. So you know that MTN is coming around this time, and the time for if the application process comes out, if the application process comes out around June, July, you know that the scholarship exam, if you get selected, if you get shortlisted for a scholarship exam will come out like let's say 3-4 months after the application process. You should start preparing for all these things before time. Like for scholarship tests, you know that you have to like build your speed, you have to build your accuracy about answering questions. It's very, very important. Let's say like for normal school CBT exams, you get like the way normal time works now, like 60 minutes for 1 hour. For CBT exams, you know that your 60 minutes is not 1 hour. Your 1 hour for 60 exams could be 45 or 50 minutes. for school CBT exams. That's your 100 level, your 100 level course and 200 level course. I think most 100 level and 200 level courses are actually, CBT based. So it's from 300 level upwards that you start having it. So for this now, you know that for scholarship exams, if your school exam time is like 50 minutes for 1 hour, for scholarship exams, you must know that it's 45 minutes for 1 hour. So you really have to work on your speed. But all these things, it's not that it's that hard. It just depends on how strong you are on these things. If you've been building your speed at answering scholarship questions for 3-4 months, you know that if you are writing this exam, you are going to be way better than someone who just started working on it 2 weeks to the exam date. These are how you plan, getting these things and how you get stuff like better than other people. If okay, this is how you go about the scholarship application process. You apply and you get selected. Fine. You got selected for the exam, but why should you write the scholarship exam? You already have a good CGPA. Why should you write the scholarship exam and you don't get the scholarship exam because you were not up to speed or because you got some answers wrong? When you know that this is how these guys will ask their questions. Of course, you might not know, okay, this is exactly how these guys will ask their question. You might not know, okay, this is how question A will be, this is how question B will be. But you know that these guys have past questions. Work around their past questions, treat the topics, really understand the topics. And there's one thing with treating topics of past questions, and there's another thing with treating those past questions themselves. If you are just treating past questions like 2-3 weeks to the exam, your brain would your brain would be more familiar with the way those questions are and not really the structure behind how those questions were created. But if you spend 3-4 months treating those topics, you see these questions, you won't take let's say the question was like 8-10 steps for you to solve those questions. Then you use complete 3-4 steps in your brain and just write 2-3 things down and go see your answer. That's how you work with scholarship exams. It's not that you have a question, you're not taking 1 minute, 2 minutes to solve a question. You're writing scholarship exam, you're taking 2-3 minutes to solve a question. Well, that's the thing. So the scholarship exams, you have to know that okay, you have like 45 minutes per hour. Like 45 minutes equals 1 hour usually. Like 45 minutes equals 1 hour usually to answer these questions, right? Because that's how time accounts. That's how time accounts. And you're having 100 questions or 60 questions or 80 questions to answer. I always calculate most times I take my calculator and say is our little CBT, but if calculator is not allowed, then it's something you can still do with your brain or use a calculator on the screen. If they are not going to they are not so hard on that, but you're not using a calculator at all. If they are all just okay, you should not bring a calculator into the exam, but just use calculator on the screen. But if not, before you start, just if you can't calculate everything in your brain so fast, just use your pencil on your sheet, your A4 sheet that you're taking, blank A4 sheet that you're taking. Okay, another thing I want to say is this. Sometimes you're going to write scholarship exams, it might be you not bring any other what's it called stuff for exam or practice and all. There's a way I agree about this because sometimes my dad write some things down. So most people take pen in when I'm going for scholarship exams, I just take my pencil and eraser and the what's it called, the printouts. So what I do is I make 2-3 copies of the printouts. So if they check, you see the printouts, right? So you're not saying I'm bringing in unauthorized docs into the scholarship hall. So I'll just take 2-3 printouts and enter the hall. And that's how I do my things. And I take a pencil and eraser. So once and the pencil I'll use something like that. Once I erase it, I'll still need to see what see much space to solve more questions on. And it's not going to be oh, I'll write this, I'll try to erase it, and I'll still be seeing what I did there. And if I try to write something else there, it's confusing and all that. You should all these things work with time. And if you're having something that is confusing, it's going to reduce your speed and all of that. So you really have to, work seriously on that. So your speed, your accuracy. So when I'm going for scholarship exams, back then I used to use this simulator, this CPT simulator by myschool.ng. So I'll just take the simulator for is it 25 minutes back then or something, yeah. And I'll set my time. Okay, I'm having 60 questions to answer in 25 minutes or 30 minutes. I always aim towards finishing before it turns on time. Because me, I'm someone who likes going over my questions 3-4 times before submitting. So while I'm solving the first time, the scholarship exams, while I'm solving the first time, I might not solve through everything. I don't like wasting time on questions. If I don't know this question at first, I'll drop it. I'll just pick an option and I'll note it down. I'll write it down. It's very, very important. If you don't know, if you don't get a question, like you're not sure of your answer, like ensure you write it down and don't waste time on it. Go over to the next question. If out of 100 questions, you're able to like solve 40 or 60 correctly, or more, usually it should be more because you've already prepared for it like before time. Like you've been preparing for like 3 4 months, right? So you shouldn't really have much problem solving those questions. At most, you should be like 10 12 questions that you are unable to solve, and you can still like just note them down. Question 12, question 15, question 27, and all of that. So just note them down on one line, like one vertical line on your what's it called, the paper that you take into the scholarship hall. So once you do that, go through the first time. Like always aim the first time of answering the questions. Well, it depends on how you plan your stuff. Well, I'm just telling you, how I run my things, right? So during the first time, I'll just answer as many questions as possible. Questions I know I'm very sure of the answer. The ones I'm not sure, I write them down. And I aim towards doing this. I time myself per question most times. Like while solving, I spend like 15 seconds, 20 seconds per question. That's depending on time allocated, sharp. So you just have to, if you have 60 minutes, or okay, I said scholarship is actually 45 minutes per hour. So if you're having 45 minutes, then you know that you want to like finish in a third of the time. You have 15 minutes to solve through the first time you get. And if you solve through 15 minutes the first time, if you are solving again, you don't have to like, because you've already like done some questions that I'm sure. So you won't spend that much time. So you can actually, if you spend 15 minutes out of 45 minutes solving through 80 questions, and you're very sure of like 60, or you're very sure of 40, let's say like average, you're sure of 40, because you've already answered 40. The next 10 minutes, you can use it to treat the other ones that you've not done. The ones you're done with that, go over it again and again. So you just be like, so that means you're going through, like you're solving through 4 times again. So that helps out a lot because it's very, 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 very good, like for building your accuracy. So then after that, after writing your scholarship exam, you can, when it comes to like, okay, you come out of the exam and you discuss with your friends, blah blah. I got this, I got that. Now, don't always feel okay when you discuss with your friends and everybody's like, this is what I got, and you feel you feel like okay, what you did was like from your question and all, you feel like you did the right thing, but people are like, it's wrong. You should have read the question correctly and all of that. See, I always say something that discussions after scholarship exams, they don't really determine who gets the scholarship at the end of the day. Chevron and Agbami, like after writing the Chevron and Agbami exam, I came out of the hole and people were like, this is the answer for this question, this is the answer for this question. And like 6 different people are like on not like 8 questions and they're like different answers. And I'm like, God, if for 8 answers, what others got is different from what I got. How like how am I saying that I should like get I'll get the scholarship at the end of the day. But then I got the scholarship and those are like, okay, this and this and that. I'm not, using like shame them or anything, but most of them didn't get it. Most of them didn't get it. So don't just say okay, because what you felt you got right, others proved it to be wrong, then it's wrong. No, it doesn't even get scholarship at the end of the day. That's the thing. Just pray for grace, sha. Do what it is you want to do and pray for grace. That's one. Then immediately after the scholarship exam, like after doing all that, so it's within your power for you to like do for a scholarship. Forget about the scholarship. Like, don't start putting it on your head that, oh, I want this scholarship to pick me. Or even if they pick you, don't start telling yourself that, okay, when will this scholarship pay? Don't plan with scholarship money. I always tell people, if I'm expecting 400K or 200K from this scholarship, I don't say, okay, I want to like change this stuff and I'll go and collect the loan and I'll be expecting this scholarship this so months and I'll use scholarship money to pay it. I don't plan with scholarship money. Scholarship money will come whenever it will come. I would plan my life, with other things. That's the thing. If you're expecting scholarship money to come in October and it doesn't come in October, it will affect you. So that's the thing. After doing all within your power to, write and do everything for the scholarship, don't stop yourself. Like, try to be more productive on other things. You've done what is required. Forget, just let God's grace do the rest. You get. So forget that. Forget the scholarship. No, I mean forget. I mean, don't bother yourself about it. But that does not mean you will not follow up. they are still on the scholarship alpha grades, when relevant things are dropped, you still pay attention to them. But don't be like, you wake up every morning and be like, God, I want to get in on this scholarship. Of course, you still pray, but you have to be very productive. Like, you have to be at the best. Like, you have to be at your best, your best state of mind. And if you do this, let it come when it will come. Focus on other things. Don't just try to like, I did this. It must work out. Like, it must work out last. Of course, you still pray. This thing has to work out. But you've done what you should do. You've done what you should do. There's no amount of, okay, prayer still works, but there's no amount of worrying. There's no amount of worrying that, would make you get the scholarship at the end of the day if you didn't do what is required for you to get. You get. So that's the thing. So just once you do the scholarship, like, you've done what is required, just follow up on when they are going to like drop the stores, and forget about the scholarship. Focus on other things. Focus on the next scholarship, or focus on another way to make money and all of that. So that's just it. For 100 level students, your year one is the most important to you. Cut out all other distractions. Build a very solid CGPA's foundation from your year one. Minimum of 4.85. But it doesn't mean if you get less than 4.85, you can't still get many scholarships. I have friends that are on 6-7 scholarships, and they are not, like, out of their first year, they didn't come on 4.85. But I'm just telling you that, okay, your aim should be 4.85 minimum. 4.85 minimum. And it's actually easy. Let's say, like, your per semester, you get like 8-10 courses. And A in most universities, like 70, like grade 70, right? Now, my dad always says something, and that is, if I want to like get 70 in this course, I should always have this plus or minus 20. So, guys, please, I'll be leaving this place very soon. So I should always have this plus or minus 20, structure when I'm preparing towards, I'm preparing for the semester. So if I want to get 70 A minimum on this course, I must add 20 to it. So I must aim towards getting 90. And I know that, okay, if I put in, the time, the stress, the effort, and everything to get 90, I'll definitely not fall below 70. There's no way. If you